thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Real Housewives of Potomac. This is season 8, episode 11. So let's get into it. We don't have a spicy corner, y'all, because honestly, my timeline has been consumed by the rap beef of it all, and I don't care no more. Like, when I tell you I've blocked everybody's name in this whole situation because I just want to listen to the music and have a good time. There was a clear-cut winner. Like, the lady out partying in LA while the other one's online going back and forth with herself for like 4 days straight. And then the song she just released, it was garbage. We just gonna have to call a thing a thing. Now, one thing I can't take away from old girl who's wilding out right now, she do got a nice pen game. This just wasn't it. And she pretty, but she a mean lady. At this point, I know people are saying it's the white powder. I don't even think it's that. I think it's a manic episode, to be honest, because I've been around people who've had those where it's like they keep going. Like, they keep going until they can't go anymore, and then they just crash out. And hopefully who's ever around her is there to like help her. But at this point, I don't care no more. Like, it's dead. The beef is dead. You lost. You lost, lady. But the episode actually opens up and we see Wendy and her and Eddie celebrating their oldest's birthday. He just turned 10, and they woke him up at 4:30 in the morning. I was with him. He looked irritated. I'd have been irritated too. Get all of this out my face. Like, you could wait till 8 o'clock when I got to be at school to do all of this. We then settle on a scene of Giselle and Ashley at Giselle's house, and they're pretty much brainstorming ideas for their athleisure wear called a Gannett apparel. So it's supposed to be GNA. Horrible name. They could have came, like, there had to be a better way to do this. There definitely had to be a better way to do this, because Gannett is too close to Nat, and I hate Nats. So why would you label it as Gannett? I mean, I think the logo is kind of cute, but the N looks like a R, like Gar, like GRA. But I know it's supposed to be GNA. I looked at their website. All they have is like a t-shirt, a hoodie, a hat. I don't even see leggings, and they supposed to be selling leggings, ain't they? But the highest thing on there is a $45 hoodie. But I think this is like their Christmas apparel, I guess, because the website still has like a Christmas logo, and then it says the fall line will be coming out in spring of 2024. So, I don't get why they're doing this. And I think it's because of what Wendy said. When you look at them, do you get fashion? Like, the two outfits Ashley and Giselle had on this whole entire episode were very, like, they were basic. So I guess I'm not understanding why. I don't get it. I don't, it's not resonating with me. I don't know. I just feel, and then for Giselle to be like, she wants this to be Lululemon meets Fenty, when it's like those are two different spectrums. Because we had earlier this month the Lululemon founder come out basically saying he don't understand why the company is doing this whole diversity and inclusion thing. Basically criticizing his company for wanting to like expand to other demographics. And then you have Fenty, who is all about inclusion. Those two things didn't make sense to me. But of course, Giselle wouldn't have known this because this information just came out this year, and this was filmed like a year ago. So I don't fault her, but I just thought it was funny that those were the two things that she wanted her brand to symbolize. And I was just like, girl, oh, well, okay. We then get this scene of Robin and Mia going to a salt therapy kind of thing. I would love to go to one of those. It looks like a cool thing. I've seen them on multiple reality shows, and it seems like a vibe. But we see them go. It's Mia and Robin. They sit down and they're just having a conversation. Mia was like, oh, you should have came to the Mother's Day event. It actually was very nice. And then Mia ends up letting Robin know that she decided to get a divorce attorney when her and G were really going through their situation, but they've been going to therapy and things have been getting better. And Robin was kind of taken aback. She was like, dang, y'all were really thinking about like getting a divorce? And Mia was like, yeah. And she was like, but therapy has helped. And so she asked Robin, she was like, have you are like you and Juan going to therapy? Robin sounded so stupid when she was like, no. She was like, our issues is, outside of us. Like, and one of our things was us spending more time together. But now, we've been spending more time together. And Mia was like, oh, ever since he lost his job. And I was like, this is how Robin is like lost in the sauce, or she really doesn't see the bigger. I don't know if she really see, what I think it is? I think Robin knows that her and Juan has issues. And I think what she is afraid of is going to therapy and then actually having somebody legitimately tell her that's not her family or friend, that does not really know Juan or her, like someone on the outside looking in, telling her like, sis, you deserve better and you should leave him. And honestly, when your kids get older, he's probably going to leave you and you are going to be stuck with trying to ruffle through your emotions as to why you didn't leave when you had the opportunity to well beforehand. Because her being like, our issues are outside of us doesn't make sense to me, because he brought those outside issues inside the relationship. Y'all wouldn't have outside issues if he didn't go to have that situation with the girl from Canada or cheat on you when y'all were previously married. And I also hate that Robin is still holding on to the fact that like she is the problem. I was talking to somebody online and they brought up a good point where they were like, I honestly think Robin got so emotional when the whole like thinking that the girls were blaming her for Juan losing his job, because she still blames herself for the whole them losing their money earlier in the marriage. And I was just like, oh, it made sense why she started crying then. Like, it was a mixture, like, especially when she was like, y'all are making me the bad guy. I think she feels that from him, and I feel like he gives that to her. I just wish she would just, like, I don't know. I don't know at this point, girl. You could want better for people, but at the end of the day, they got to want it for themselves. They got to want it for themselves. This Wendy and Eddie scene where they're like at a bar getting food together. It's like a lunch date. And basically, they're kind of both like overwhelmed and very invested into the two projects that they've been working on. Wendy and her show. She has her YouTube channel. I'll be honest, I haven't looked at any of the clips. I saw the promotional clip, but I haven't gone and subscribed. I probably won't. But I've seen a lot of positive commentary about the show. So if you want to, I'll put on the screen like where you can check her out at and what the name of it is. And then we got Eddie. Happy Eddie. We know Eddie started his cannabis line, and I think that's a great idea, mainly because weed is now illegal in the DMV area except Virginia. Or is it legal in Virginia? I think last time I went to Virginia, it was legal in the DC and Maryland. Maybe it now is legal in Virginia, but I'm not totally sure. But people are, the people been getting into the business. And when he said like we make up only like 10%, but most of us is in jail right now, is wild. It's wild to me. That is wild to me, that like a multi-million-dollar industry that we have been a part of, that have put a lot of black and brown people in jail for like nonviolent crimes for like 20 years plus. Like, we only make up 10%, and our other counterparts are of a Caucasian hue, make up majority of it, and are not suffering the like generational like issues of that. Like, so I'm always, when it's black people that's in the business like legally, I'm like, okay, we support it, because that don't make sense to me that we in jail and y'all not. But he's calling it Happy Eddie. And What's funny to me is that they showed Deborah, but you can tell how much she is not a non-factor to this production company, because if they wanted to make Deborah more not interesting or more integral to the story, they would have put her name on that name card. They just put last year and showed her when she was looking crazy, when she was messing with her hair and them eyebrows was big, and I was like, I know she got to be seething about that, so they just want to make sure that they're on the same page. We then have this scene of Karen and Ray going to lunch as well, and she's talking about Surrey County. We find out that Karen purchased her grandmother's home, and she bought it from her Aunt Val. Now, I did not watch that 3-part series. I didn't. I wasn't into it. I didn't care. But I do remember Aunt Val, and I do remember the cousin, because I saw clips of them. And the cousin is Aunt Val's son, but Aunt Val was like, I guess the manager or the one that's in charge of the wheel of everything. And so Aunt Val did not give Karen her grandmother's home. Karen had to buy her grandmother's home from Aunt Val, which I'm not really mad at, because like, if they really care about that farm, I would definitely be very cautious about what family members I give it to, because you don't want anyone to ruin that for you. But Karen wants to turn her grandmother's home into like an Airbnb, which is weird to me, because what is there to do in Surrey County? So who is really going out there to Airbnb? I guess to get away from it all. And then, I don't know. I wouldn't want to be honest. But Karen was like, if it's not going to work, because she has to have somebody actually come and like, appraise the house to make sure it's structurally sound to have people living in it. She was like, if they tell her it's not okay, then they're basically going to, like, I guess she's going to rebuild something or turn it into like, maybe she said a weed farm. And Aunt Val was like, as long as it's not like a nudist thing. I was like, I don't even think Karen would even be down with that like that. But low key, girl, if it gives you revenue to keep your farm alive, because unfortunately, there's a lot of black farms, and not just black farms, but I just know it because of I'm on the black side of agriculture, of like me knowing what's going on because of like my major and stuff. But because of that, like, a lot of black farms are suffering, and a lot of small farms, like a lot of big farms are trying to buy out smaller farms. And the issue for the smaller farms is like they don't have the revenue to fight the big farms. So they normally concede, because they don't get, like I said, they're not making the best profit, because we normally get most of the groceries in the grocery store are from big farms. So I mean, if Karen can like make something and it be extra revenue for the family and for herself, and they can hold on to their family farm, then so be it. So while she's at the dinner with Ray, she tells Ray that she told the ladies at Candace's Mother's Day event that like she gonna put everybody's name in a bowl. They're going to grab names out of it and then read off on it. You know what I mean? And that's who she's going to pick to take to Surrey County, because she said right now she don't want them around because they a liability as a group, because they haven't come together. And so she decides to invite Candace, Karen, Wendy, Ashley, and Giselle. Candace, Karen, Ashley, and Wendy are like, sure, we're down. Karen, my bad, y'all. Giselle sends Karen a text back saying, Karen, thanks so much for inviting me. Love you, but I won't be attending. So then Karen ends up texting everybody in the group and inviting them, and pretty much saying that she opened up her liability insurance for everybody to come now. And Candace sent back, girl, you too accommodating, but I'll be there. Wendy was like, well, if the other person didn't really want to come, then like it is what it is. Robin said thanks for the invite, but it was too late notice. And then Mia sent back, I can't get past the original invite. Like, Mia feels some type of way that she was not originally invited, which is okay for, like, I mean, like, if you feel some type of way, you feel some type of way. So we then see this scene with Sharice, NECA, and Giselle. So we get this scene of NECA and her husband fighting because he can't find his ID badge. She mean to him. Like, and I far be it for me to defend a man, but like, if someone's asking you to help. Like, girl, you could be like, you could pretend to help, but to be like, no, you just need to get one from the hospital. Maybe he don't want to pay for one from the hospital. Maybe he just don't want to go through the rigmarole of having to, like, get one from the hospital. But, like, you could help. Like, she was being very, like, yeah. And then Giselle shows up in this mini, like, honestly, she showed up in like a t-shirt dress with ugly wedges on. She walks in the house. The house looks actually nice with the renovations. I love the banister area where you can look over into the living room. I thought that was cute. I would really like to see what NECA's house looks like when she puts like furniture in it, like actual, like a whole bunch of furniture, and like puts things on the walls. I didn't like the fact that the living area was white. It reminded me of Nene. Too much white, and I think I get worried because I'm like, I don't think you can get comfortable on like a white sofa or chair because you're so worried about messing it up. But I would like to see her house built up. NECA lets what's her name, Giselle, know about how she was out driving around the town with Karen, and Karen was shading her about her not living in Potomac, that she lived in North Potomac. I say either way it's Potomac, Karen, so what are you talking about? But Karen was saying that LA has nothing on Potomac. And honestly, y'all, I've been to California. I feel like it's overhyped, but I also feel like that is me being an East Coast girl versus a West Coast girl, as well as like the vibe is different. Like the vibe in the West Coast is different from the vibe in the East Coast. So I don't know. And plus the cost of living in LA. Girl, living in a box for $1,200. Let me stay in the South. You could pay $1,200 and at least have a 2-bedroom apartment, with a view or something, you know what I mean? But yeah, no. Like I said, Karen was shading NECA. NECA kind of took it in stride because she was just like, Karen, what are you talking about? While Giselle's at NECA's house, we then see Charisse pop up. Now, we know that was planned because, first of all, Charisse don't give that she pops up on everybody. She does not give that type of energy that she just pops up on anybody like that, because I don't think Charisse wants anyone coming to her house unannounced. But Charisse pops up. We find out that Charisse and NECA been hanging out outside of the show and outside of the ladies, which, I mean, make friends, girl. And so they sit down and talk. And while they're sitting there, Giselle ends up telling the girls, or maybe Karen sent the text message and that's when Giselle texts back, but Giselle ends up telling them about how Karen invited her and she don't want to be nowhere near Candace and Wendy, which I'm like, did they got you that scared? Now, I normally don't say that, but I think the issue for me with Giselle is you can't do all these things to people and then when they respond to you and it's a lot harsher than you think it needs to be, that you now don't want to be around them and your safety's in danger. Like Giselle going on and on about death threats, and granted, I do believe that she's gotten them because I told y'all Potomac fans are rabid. But the other ladies have also got them too, and they still engaged with y'all. And I think, to me, Giselle is doing herself a disservice because without Giselle, like in the mix really like that, I was like, y'all could actually get rid of her or demote her. Like, keep everybody else and I would be fine. Like, I was okay with the Robin and Mia conversation and it was going. I was okay with the other girls going to Surrey County and then Charisse popping in from time to time because she's friends with NECA and Robin. Like, Giselle to me wouldn't be needed because, to me, even without Giselle, I think NECA still would have been invited or would have went on the trip to Surrey County, and Robin and Wendy and NECA would have still had issues. Same with Robin and Candace would have still had issues if Giselle wasn't here, because even though she caused them, she doesn't have to be there because she's not engaging with any of the people she has issues with to move the storyline along. So it looks stupid to me. But Giselle ends up telling NECA, like, because I think after Giselle declined, that's when Karen sent everybody the text in the massive group, in the big group chat. And Giselle was like, you need to make sure that you're not being treated like a second-class citizen. Like, are you going to go or are you not going to go? And NECA ends up going because, girl, why not? So they pull up, everyone pulls up to, to Karen's house. They're getting into a Sprinter. I don't know what Ashley got on. They're all excited to go. When Wendy sees NECA, she got the Karen face like, okay, she's here. They get on the Sprinter. I didn't understand why they were seated the way they were, because at the back of the Sprinter, you have Candace, Wendy, and Ashley. Then in the middle, you have Karen with a bunch of stuff in like around her. Then you have NECA on the front seat, and I think that was a producer, not a driver, or maybe it was a driver, but it didn't give driver. It gave like that was a producer. But they're all sitting in the car together. Ashley tells them about the fashion line that her and Giselle are doing. Wendy laughs in her face, and Ashley is like, Wendy is just pressed. I was like, girl, no, it's comical because neither one of y'all are fashionistas. Then they started talking about Mia and the text message that was sent, and Karen kind of felt some type of way because Mia texted Karen like, Karen, I don't do, she said, Karen, I don't do last minute urgent RSVP demands. Congratulations to you and yours. And then I think Karen was like, oh, when Mia said I can't get over the original invite, Karen said, well, you need to. And NECA stands up for Mia, where she pretty much was like, well, girl, it does kind of look crazy. Like we were just an afterthought because the person you wanted to come did not come. So then you opened it up to everybody. Karen says, you know what, I can take that because I can see where you're coming from. Because I was like, yeah, Karen, I get Mia's frustration. It's like, girl, I'm not coming, and plus it's last minute, and you didn't think to invite me earlier. Yeah, girl, miss me with that. So they get to Suri. We meet some of Karen's family. Oh no, but before they got to Suri, NECA invites everyone to her housewarming. And Ashley's in the back like, Wendy, what do you think about that? And Wendy was like, steps were missed. And I was like, Wendy, how was a step missed? Like, she's invited. Like, I get what Wendy wants. Wendy wants a formal apology from NECA, but I don't even think Wendy really wants to receive that from her right about now. And I'm just kind of like, in a way, she is giving you an olive branch of being like, hey, everybody is invited to come to my house. Like, I'm not excluding anyone. And then we find out that Wendy is having they're doing like a Happy Eddie, I guess like a company party or something, or a promotional party. And the production asked Wendy, like, is NECA invited? And Wendy kind of just made a face like, not really. And I'm like, okay, Wendy, I get you don't want her to be there, but she is trying. You got to get a lady that. The girl is somewhat trying to make amends with you in a sense of allowing everyone to come. So they get to Suri. We see the house. I think Karen said it's 104 years old. I mean, I'm always down to learn about Black history, especially if it's like the people are here, because, you know, we are Black history. And so learning about the house, Karen reminiscing about like, hey, this is where I used to get my hair done before going to church. They have a really nice prayer. The pastor is there to bless the house. And then the ladies get into their, you know, farm gear. Karen got on a dress and they like, Karen. So they're like, you know, hoeing around the like bushes. I don't know. I guess Karen want to plant plants there. They play a trick on them saying they saw a snake. We know Wendy is definitely afraid of snakes. So she freaked out. Everyone's running. They're like, Karen, stop saying snakes. And then they all finish. It was like a really lighthearted moment. Everyone's hugging up on each other. And then they're all like, oh, let's run to Val's house, because we found out that her house is like a walk away. So they run to her house and they sit down to have dinner or lunch, and they're sitting down and they're all just reminiscing about how good of a time they're having. And then things shift, because I think Karen was like, I hope someone started the conversation for NECA and Wendy. And I don't know if it was Wendy or Karen. Maybe it was Wendy, because she was like, you know, this is what it should be, a sisterhood, not people coming to sow like division and in the group. And NECA kind of looking at Wendy, and NECA was like, I kind of tried to extend an olive branch to you. And Wendy was like, steps have been missed. And like, I don't care about anyone who's like going to encroach on my happiness or something to that, or whose existence is, it was weird. I'm sorry, Wendy. It was weird, girl. I like you. But the thing is like, I don't think NECA is going anywhere. Like, I think NECA will be back for season 9. And I feel as though Wendy is just going to have to either. Actually, I feel like Wendy and NECA should have had a sit down after the pickleball situation where they both was cussing each other out. You know, NECA called Wendy a bitch. Wendy said, you need to set the record effing straight. And it was just like, y'all should have had a sit down. Y'all parents, you know, and I get Wendy's being angry at NECA. Like, you brought up my mama. You called her a witch. You are saying that your husband got real rowdy with my husband. Like, we have problems. But I think at this point, y'all have to come together and sit down and have communication, because where do we go from this? Because it seems like Wendy isn't wanting to move forward, but NECA is. And I think the tides are changing, because do I find NECA to be annoying? Yeah. Like, I feel like she came into the group too quickly, picking a side, which it was just like, if you're new to the group, you should try to get to know everybody. But outright going to Wendy's ops, which is Robin and Giselle, makes you look like you didn't come in here trying to get to know everyone. You came in here with an agenda. And you may have not had an agenda, but that's how it looks. Like, the optics are not in your favor. So I feel as though that's the issue, I think, with Potomac, is like, nobody wants to have one-on-ones, and then when we have one-on-ones, they're too late in the season, when it's like, y'all should have just sat down in the beginning of the season and all had a kumbaya. But that's where the episode ended, with Wendy getting up from the table being like, I'm good and it's whatever. Yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic, and hop down in them comments below. Tell me what you think about the episode. Are you on NECA's side? Are you on Wendy's side? Do you see NECA? Do you think NECA inviting Wendy to her housewarming was an olive branch? Or are you with Wendy that steps have been missed and that really wasn't an olive branch? Give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. Subscribe if you liked the video. And I'm out, y'all. Deuces.